First, Chloe Scherer with the serve. Backside set for Jalen Gibson. And it didn't take Jalen long to pick up where she left off last time out, as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast.
You know, and something that Coach Williams spoke about to Jalen Gibson's success is just that connection with Lily Nicholson. And I think the last 3 or 4 matches, Gibson and Nicholson have really hit it off with their connection.
Sarah Sylvester with the serve for TCU. Partially blocked, but the kill for the Knights, Ava Armour.
And you know, something about this UCF squad is the height. So Ava Armour, you just saw get a kill 6'5", and she is not the tallest one on the team. So 6'5", you know, Alexia Kuhl is 6'7". She's in the middle right now for UCF.
Melanie Parra goes to the tip, kept alive and batted over. The great defensive play coming out of the back row that time by Britt Carlson, but it's TCU who terminates the rally. Melanie Parra for the Horned Frogs.
And there's something to be said about Melanie Parra in system here. She has 1.5 blockers. She's able to just get on top of that ball quick.
Jalen Gibson with the serve. Backside set and off the one-legged attack that time was Cool. Back to the outside, and another kill going down the line is Armour. Her dad played football at Stanford and went on to a lengthy NFL career. Played for the Broncos in the Super Bowl, so comes from an athletic family, as do a lot of the Knights when you look at their personal stats. It's Armour with the serve, and that one's low. A service error against the Knights. If there's been a problem for the Knights, aside from the fact that they keep having to shift their lineup around due to injuries, it's the fact that they have some problems with their passing. Melanie Parra long with that serve. We'll see how that plays out over the course of the night.
Yeah, but you know, a big part of the game, it starts, obviously we talk about the serve and the pass a lot, you know, ball control. So the ability to get the ball to the setter so that the setter has many options to run the offense.
Point for the Horned Frogs. This one's going back and forth here in the early going. No team able to get on a run, in part because of problems at the service line. Alice Volpe will serve. Backside set and a big kill coming off the slide that time. Sasha Cohen had her first career double-double against Houston a while back on the 25th, 15 kills, 11 digs in that match against the Cougars.
And the Knights, when they can, they're going to get the ball to the middles whenever they're able to. So whenever they pass the ball and they run their offense, you're going to see their middles get a lot of the sets.
Evan Hendricks has to just bump it over. They go back to the outside, does UCF. Hendricks had it blocked. Good job by USF at the net. They block it again. This time they can't come up with it, as that ball ends up on the floor before Heidi Bonde can get her hand underneath it, the senior out of Illinois. Sister played at K-State. If the name sounds familiar to you, that's probably why. Lily Nicholson with the serve. Some confusion for TCU, but Volpe able to keep it in the air. And TCU will win the point. Great job defensively that time by Bonde, as she took off and had to retrieve that almost on the scorer's table or right by the bench.
And you know, I'll never forget a drill to practice as you assess the situation. So assessing the chairs so you don't fall and then try to make a good play out of it. That time she was unable to get a good touch.
Nicholson. Bonde from the outside. Her 114th kill of the year, averaging just under 2.5 a set.
A nice fluid angle shot there by Bonde. Bonde at 6'4". So we've got a 6'4" so far. We've got a 6'5". Lots of height on the pins for UCF.
Nicholson able to pull it back and get it to Sarah Sylvester with the big swing in the middle, and that's a great job by the setter for TCU. Lily Nicholson just to bat that ball backwards.
And, you know, I'm talking about that pass from Alice Volpe. That was a tough down-the-line serve. Volpe was able to kind of keep it in the court. Nicholson saved it.
Service ace for the Horned Frogs. First ace of the match for the Horned Frogs. Evan Hendricks, who got the start again here tonight, made her first career start against Iowa State and had a double-double. 13 kills and 12 digs as she's finally fully recovered. Serves that one into the net.
And, you know, Evan Hendricks starting for Becca Kelly, of course, but that does not mean that Becca Kelly still isn't an asset to the Horned Frogs squad. She's done a tremendous job as well throughout the season, and, you know, how lucky Coach Williams is to have such a deep bench.
Melanie Parra came up short on that swing as it hit the tape. Stayed on her side of the net. The attack arrow on the Horned Frogs. And a good look at Jason Williams there, sporting the mustache, as we noted.
I almost can't take it seriously. But hey, I love the look. The sweater does it for me.
Jalen Gibson. The connection with Nicholson and Gibson over the last couple of matches has been really good.
And, you know, another thing Gibson does, especially here, is she stays behind the ball. So Nicholson is off the net setting. So Gibson really, you know, that's a change that a hitter has to make in their approach, is starting a little bit later, making sure they stay behind the ball when that setter is pulled off the net.
Seth Bramschreiber with the serve. Side out TCU on the miss hit that time by Cool.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the Knights try to go right back to Cool if they're given the opportunity.
She transferred in from Colorado out of St. John's, Florida. They go to the outside for Armour. Good rally by both teams here. 50-50 ball, and there's Cool right in the middle and put it down. You talked about her height advantage in the middle, 6'7".
And, you know, take a look at this. So she's up so high, and she has to tell herself, I don't want to be called over. I don't want to be called over, because at 6'7", she's perfectly capable of reaching so far over the net and tapping it down, and she could get called for being over the net.
Jalen Gibson goes down the line for the kill. Her third of the match. You know, we were talking to the coaching staff beforehand, and we talked about Melanie Parr being a little quiet against Iowa State. And she's quiet again tonight. Not a lot of action for Melanie Parr so far in this one. But Jalen Gibson has more than made up for it. Great job by the Knights to get that one over the net. And there's Gibson again. And you have to keep beating the hot hand. And over the last couple of matches, it's been Jalen Gibson.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, another thing Coach Williams mentioned is Lily Nicholson giving Jalen Gibson. You can see perfect scenario there for Nicholson. Perfect pass, so that's an in.
They're hoping for big things come February, but right now, it's volleyball season. Gibson had it dug out. And that ball is called a net violation against Lexi Roberson as she reached over the net to bring that ball back.
And, you know, so the UCF setter is a front row setter, which means she's allowed to jump and save a ball like she did. And that's those taller blockers. They got to be careful they don't reach over too far to get in the plane of the ball to take that opportunity away from them.
Service there on Armour. Melanie Parra with the service ace.
The baseball team like that one. She hit it right out of the park.
Yeah, you can see they're enjoying that. Some of the pitchers talking about that's some pretty good spin on that.
Exactly.
Goes to the floater here. Tough ball to handle. And that one is long. Again, the slide being run to the outside. That time it was cool for the Knights, but she sent it a little bit long. Jenny Mara looking on. You know, you have two Mexican nationalists here. Obviously, Melanie Parra, who's serving right now. That ball a little bit on the long side. And then on the other side, Ava Armour, number 10. She's got dual citizenship. She was born in Mexico. And so she's got dual citizenship.
So she could play on the Mexican national team with Melanie Parra.
Yep.
If you know, ability is there, of course. It's always good to have that kind of thought.
Back row attack and the kill by Melanie.
And, you know, it's good to see Melanie Parra hitting an in-system ball. She gets a lot of kind of out-of-system, we'll call them junk balls, just kind of for a lack of a better term. But in-system Melanie Parra is what we like to see.
There was Armour with that swing. They go back outside for Hendricks. And there's a lot of heat behind that swing by Evan Hendricks.
That's how you jam a finger right there, just getting tooled.
Most
volleyball players have crooked pinky fingers.
I can imagine. Big swing on the outside. Sasha Cohen, the redshirt freshman.
And, you know, in system here, really, you know, that deep corner, last 2-3 feet of the court, it's just no man's land. Really good shot.
Schomer with the serve. Not as long as Evan Hendricks, unable to get on top of that ball. Sent it long, so the Knights will pick up the point. And that one beyond the end line. That's the fourth service error on UCF. TCU's committed 3 tonight. Lily Nicholson will serve for the Horned Frogs after the service error. Good job by UCF going to one of their pin hitters on the outside. Bonde with the kill, the senior.
And, you know, Bonde's only 6'4", so it's just, I feel like for UCF, 6'4", 6'5", 6'7", big hitters and heavy hitters. You know, and Bonde is one of those, hitting high, hitting heavy.
She missed quite a portion of last year, got injured after playing the first 9 matches. In the middle, that's Sarah Sylvester for the Horned Frogs. Well, Jason Williams talked about wanting to get his middles a little bit more into the game.
And, you know, and here's Sylvester, she's purely just doing her job as manning the net. So kind of a junk overpass ball that she just pushes back over. But, you know, definitely getting the middles in the game, getting them some good in-system sets to give the UCF blockers something to think about.
Armour on the outside, comes up with the kill. And 18 kills, that was a career high for her earlier this year, back in September against Stetson. She's only 6'5".
You know, only, it's...
And there's Melanie Parra. She's only checks in at 5'11". So height doesn't always necessarily...
You know, and it's nothing to take away from the smaller or bigger players, all these great athletes out here. You know, they make it look so easy. They really do.
Seth Bramschreiber rotates in to serve. Roberson bats it over. TCU had the block set up that time. Backside set on the outside for Britt Carlson. A redshirt sophomore out of Woodbury, Minnesota, and Washington State transfer. She'll rotate out after scoring that point for the Knights. Caitlin Grimes, the senior out of Lebanon, Ohio, will serve. Gibson tools that one off the block.
And, you know, Gibson, business as usual. If you look at her face, I mean, in another in-system set. So the key about this in-system that we're talking about, great pass from Evan Hendricks. I think we're seeing a lot of hitters for TCU side get perfect sets because the ball control has just been primed.
Alexa Cool with the kill.
And you'll see Cool go this one-legged attack because her role is to go behind the setter. So that's kind of her go-to swing. If they're able to get the ball to Cool on that one-legged attack, I would imagine they're going to do it more and more.
And that time, Cool perfectly positioned to block that shot attempt from Melanie Parra.
And it, again, 6'7". It's look at the ability to close the block and throw a hand. So maybe not there with her feet, but with her hands.
Service ace for the Knights. As Ava Armour picks it up. First ace of the match for UCF. Melanie Parra comes right back to score for the Horned Frogs.
And right now, the Horned Frogs continue to pass well. They're going to score, they're going to side out, and I think that's the difference right now. Even though the score is a little bit closer than it was, 18-23, TCU tends to side out a little bit better than UCF on those perfect passes.
Melanie Parra, who has an ace tonight at the service line. Comes up short. It's her second service error of the match. We always talk about how she has that hybrid serve and how difficult it is if the toss isn't quite perfect.
That's right. So she wants to have it in front of her, not too high, but not too low. And that could have been the result of that in the net serve that we just saw, maybe too low and behind her.
Hendricks just kind of bats it over. Armour from the back row sends it long.
And you know, you see the difference, that back row attack, so that we just saw Armour attempt, and then when you see TCU hitting their back row attack, it's a little bit quicker of a set. It's in system just like their front row sets are.
High set to the outside this time, and going cross court for the kill is Bonde.
And Heidi Bonde, I think she did a repeat kill of her last kill. So you look at the area that she's swinging here. She really gets her shoulders kind of around the ball well. She's facing the angle, but she's bringing the heat. And I think she's also hitting over TCU's block.
That's set on the back row attack to Melanie Parra, was behind her. And again, it's Bonde who comes up with a kill. Swing even happened.
And, you know, I think it would have probably been a kill anyways. The defender for UCF just kind of threw out an arm. And, you know, the blocker's obviously hungry to block Jalen Gibson touching the net.
Melanie Parra didn't have much behind that. In the middle, it's Alexa Cool. Both her mother and father were collegiate athletes at UNC Charlotte. Her mother played volleyball. Father was a basketball player, actually played internationally for quite a while, and then played for the German national team in basketball for a couple of years. That one off the block. Nice job by Jalen Gibson. Saw the block up there and then just used it to her advantage.
And you know, the difference with Jalen Gibson's attack and other attackers for TCU is just the quick tempo sort of style of play for the Horned Frogs against a different tempo and block for UCF.
Armour with the swing in the middle. Roberson had it blocked. They go right back to her and she just swats at it. Good job defensively, keeping that ball off the floor by Shelton of UCF. They go to the outside, down the line for the kill. Ava Armour. 4 kills for her now on the night.
And Ava Armour just taking advantage of the fact that TCU block was late to getting there. Setter Lily Nicholson was kind of stuck inside there. And, you know, in system, Ava Armour 6'5" against a Lily Nicholson 5'11" that's not there is tough.
Melanie Parra, big swing. And nice job defensively by the Knights. And there's Armour on the back row attack.
And, you know, we spoke about Ava Armour at the top of the match, just being consistent, kind of the consistent role for the lineup for UCF. And you can see there, you know, front row, back row, 15 attempts now, 5 kills.
Point for the Horned Frogs is a violation that time. Net violation again. Jason Williams looking on. Melanie Parra, a little long on that serve.
And I don't know, I mean, so even though it was long, I almost thought it was a good bait. I mean, someone could go fishing on that. It was a nice kind of chest level float. We got a perfect view of it. It was just like a fast, hard float serve, flew out long.
An ace for Alexa Cool. Alexia Cool back to serve again. In this set, UCF is doing a nice job of blocking at the net, causing some problems for the Horned Frogs. That time, Henrik's able to convert for TCU.
Really important, the Horned Frog hitter coverage there for Evan Hendricks. So she got to have a second attempt there. Out of system from Volpe, but nice high swing. Still aiming down the line. Hendricks is kind of taking advantage of that area on the floor.
Off the slide, that one is long, but it was tipped. Sasha Cohen with the kill.
And you know, some differences.
Now it's just a 1 point UCF lead. That one blocked by TCU. Nice job of keeping it off the floor by Grimes of UCF, and that one is long. Trying to go deep with that kill attempt.
You know, and I think UCF, they're going to look for Ava Armour wherever she is, you know, whether it's in a good situation or a difficult situation.
Tough ball to handle. TCU could not come up with it cleanly. Volpe was there, but on the rebound, it went over the net and out of bounds. So
those deep, flat hits, you know, that's what Volpe just got a piece of.
And the service ace. That time, Abby Schomer, redshirt sophomore at Omaha, Nebraska, coming up with the ace. That's her 11th of the year. Third ace of the match for UCF. And that time the block was set up perfectly on Hendricks. And UCF playing much better here in this set. They're hitting .325, doing a good job at the net.
And you can see Coach Maurer happy. And, you know, Coach Maurer, when I spoke with her, she was really like, hey, we are, in my opinion, we're doing everything we can. We're playing good volleyball. It's just the Big 12. The Big 12 is great competition.
Yeah, up and down the league, it is tough to win night in, night out. As we take one more look at this great save by TCU, and then the win by Lily Nicholson at the net.
The smaller always wins the joust.
That's what you always say, yeah. It's tougher angles. Jalen Gibson was hot in the first set. They go back to her here for her 8th kill of the match.
And, you know, such a fluid swing here. Just thumb down, wrists away. How about that set from Lily Nicholson? Back set off the net. And Jalen Gibson down the line.
Nicholson with the serve, floats it short. Nice dig by TCU. Hendricks took the big swing, and it'll end up as a point for the Horned Frogs. Shearer could not run it down.
I think Shearer went for the foot. She said, I can't get it with my body. I'm going to throw my foot out there. It has been done. It has been done. Liberos saving the ball with their foot.
Any part of your body.
Yep.
Block by Hendricks. And we talk about all the height up front for this UCF team, and it's Hendricks at 5'9" who gets the job done here for the Horned Frogs.
And, you know, I call that the flying squirrel move. You don't see them when you're a high hitter up there. You think you've got an open net, and then flying squirrel just, I didn't think about that.
Big swing on the outside that time by Sasha Cohen. Redshirt freshman out of Lakewood, Colorado.
And that one-legged attack from the UCF middles. So in system, UCF, they're going to their middles. Sasha Cohen, 7 sets, 3 kills. Alexia Kuhl, 6 sets, 3 kills. So many more attempts than TCU middles.
Jalen Gibson goes cross court for the kill. Sasha Cohen was the player of the year coming out of high school in Colorado. Evan Hendricks. That one blocked. In the middle, it's Cohen who got it.
And Cohen, you know, taking away that angle swing from Melanie Parra here. You could see her left hand. She really pushes over the net. That'll get it. That'll take away that angle swing. You can see Melanie Parra is not happy that her plan didn't work out.
So she comes right back and terminates that one rather quickly with a big swing. There was a lot of heat on that ball by Melanie Parra.
Well, and quickly indeed. So inside set here, just that shows all the athleticism right there. The vertical, that using her vertical to just get to that ball quick.
Clip the tape. And go to the outside, and again, another UCF player in the net. As her shoulder got tied up in the net, I think it was Kuhl who might have clipped the net, and she was looking to get up into her spot to block that one. Tool off the block on the nice swing on the outside by Britt Carlson. Up over 160 kills on the year now, a little over 2 per set. That's just her 3rd tonight. Melanie Parra with that patented cross-court angle shot.
And not only cross-court, an off-the-net set. So extreme difficulty to hit a ball that far off the net in that great of an angle with that much power.
Trying to go down the line that time was cool, but missed.
And, you know, now is in the game when I'm just thinking back to Coach Williams before the match. He talked about keeping it clean, cleaning things up, kind of fine-tuning. And this is the moment for TCU right now. They're on a roll to kind of keep it clean.
And they go back to Armour on the outside. Ava Armour's having a good night. That's her 7th kill. And she'll step back here and serve.
And, you know, I think TCU as well, not to take anything away from Ava Armour and her success this match so far, but with Lily Nicholson in the front row, TCU knows that the hitters are going to hit over her. The setters are going to go to those pin hitters on opposing teams because they're able to hit over her. So, you know, in that sense, she is the weakest link in blocking terms for TCU. So that's kind of something that TCU is going to face moving forward as they play bigger teams. And, you know, once they get into postseason, is having to figure out that little weakness there.
Getting Stephanie Young back will certainly help that to some degree. Point that time for Central Florida. It's a kill by Bondic. Lily Nicholson says I may be short, but when I get my opportunities, I take them.
And then she does that. And, you know, like I said, it's nothing to take away from her talent. I mean, we know this is one of many setter dump techniques that Lily Nicholson has. So the left-handed dump just in the campfire, they like to call it, area of the court, that's one. But she's got the deep corner tip. She's got, what's the other one? The behind the back tip. She's kind of short. And I feel like once she gets a point with one, she might throw in a few more.
Stephanie Young now in the game. We just mentioned her a moment ago. She's in the front row and was trying to block that swing off her hands and deflects out of bounds. So point for UCF. I kiddingly said Lily Nicholson is short. She's not really. She's 5'11". It's just compared to everyone else on the floor.
Well, especially UCF when the average height is like 6'1".
Blocked by TCU. Young gets it to Volpe, and then Hendricks tried to cut that cross court, just didn't get the angle on it. It was a tough set from Volpe, coming on the bump rather than normal setters. Schomer will serve. And there's a patented pipe attack from Melanie Parra.
And, you know, UCF stunned. UCF's defense stunned in that attack by Parra. See how quick this back row set. It's hardly above the net if you look at it from your view. So no time whatsoever for anybody to react on the court.
Lily Nicholson back in the match, serves it into the net. She was out for a rotation while Stephanie Young was in at the net. Cam Shelton, the freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, with the serve. Blocked as Hendricks had the swing, but Armour was there at the net for the block.
And a solid block for that matter. She was set up, waiting almost, literally waiting in the air for Hendricks. Hendricks, you know, instead of just sticking with the cross court, wanted to try to turn it down the line there.
Becca Kelly rotates in. There's a service error. That was Shelton who committed the service error. Becca Kelly was in the match. for the Horned Frogs, and that serve comes up short. Back-to-back service here.
Right, I was just going to say, and that's the difference now. 7 service errors for the game to 2 aces, whereas UCF 6 errors to 3 aces. So the last few wins by TCU, they haven't been the leaders in the service errors, but they have been leaders in the aces, where it's tables have turned a little bit now.
Another block by Armour at the net. Hendricks had the swing for the Horned Frogs, but Armour was right there for her second solo block of the night.
And Armour just lining up. She's dialed in those line attacks by the Horned Frogs. You know, Jalen Gibson trying to do that wrist down line attack.
Solution to it, because this is what they're going to see once you get to postseason. This is not going to be a one-off. This is certainly the height you'll see in the playoffs. Armour, this time it's Sylvester with the block. So Kansas, they'll play K-State. Couple more at home before they finish up on the road, and then look ahead towards postseason play. Bram Schreiber clips the tape with the serve. Armour, that time TCU got a piece of it at the net. Parra goes to the tip, and she's going to score. Not just high volleyball IQ. The block was set up, and she recognized it.
Exactly, and it was placed so perfectly behind the middle blocker's left hand, so you can kind of see here. Usually you see tips over that end blocker, but they're just the crossfire path of the 2 UCF defenders.
Bram Schreiber again, just barely above the tape. That one blocked by TCU. Good dig by Schomer. And Carlson does a nice job of recognizing that the block was there, and she just goes to the roll shot to pick up the point.
And, you know, that's the first roll shot or any, you know, non-big heavy hit that the Frogs have seen from Carlson. So, you know, this time in the game, really smart plays for these attackers on both sides of the net just to do something different.
Caitlin Grimes to serve. Volpe on the receiving end. There's the tip by Gibson. Armour had it blocked. TCU now doing a better job against her along that side. Backside set, Gibson, and it's Armour who comes up with the block. Well, she's playing really well tonight.
Well, Armour is so dialed in on Jalen Gibson. Gibson's kills at the beginning of the match have been down the line, and you can see here Armour has just taken one more step when she blocks to take away her go-to line shot.
Third block to go along with 6 kills. Melanie Parra just inside the corner for the kill. Parra slowly but surely working her way up to double digits in kills. That's her 10th. Hasn't been the big night where we've called her name constantly. TCU spread it around a little bit, but still lit right there again in double figures. There's the set in the middle. Roberson with the swing. I don't know. That hit the tape and then crawled over.
And I could just hear, you know, her shoulder probably cringing here, trying to turn that ball to just get it with enough power or whatever she used to get it through.
Big point coming up here, 23-all. Nicholson sets Parra, just pushes it over. They set Armour on the outside. TCU's gonna have to get it over. Melanie Parra with the big swing. And that ball, I don't know if they say clip the antenna going back over or what, or was it?
Get the ball and it's a double. Well, you're allowed to do that now. Oh. And you know,
Jalen Gibson, and again, cool in the middle, but she had some room, just hit it wide. And you can see she's a little upset with herself there, not converting that opportunity.
And, you know, I don't expect UCF to stop going to Alexia Cool. She has been so helpful for their offense. in their last few matches, actually. Lots of attempts. So that just shows they trust in her.
Britt Carlson tried to cut that sharply cross court, sent it wide. Well, back-to-back attack errors, and Melanie Parra looking on. She said, I know what that's like.
The frustration.
There's the block. And all of a sudden, TCU starting to get in on the block parade and doing some different things here. That time it was Roberson who got the block for the Horned Frogs. Armour, dug out by Hendricks on the back row. Gibson just pushes it down the line, and that's a little bit wide. Not a bad idea by Jalen Gibson, just missed wide as Armour was there in the neighborhood.
And I think that's the first time Gibson has tried a tip out of the back row. So, you know, when you always try something different, there is a risk there.
Short serve dug out by TCU. Roberson, what a great job by Central Florida just to bat it over the net, but it was wide. I didn't think they were going to get it up and over on the third hit.
Lots of one-arm touches to kind of save that whole rally. So, and even Robertson, I think, just half hit that ball, and hard ball to read.
Back to live action. There's the kill on the outside by Carlson. This time she goes cross court with not as much of an angle. Able to find some space.
She actually made that kill look really easy. I think she faced where she was wanting to hit, and she did it, and it scored. she just business as usual for Carlson over there.
Caitlin Grimes with the serve, the senior. Melanie Parra. Sometimes you just shake your head and wonder how she does what she does.
Honestly, I mean, and I played professionally for 11 years all over the world, and things that Melanie Parra is doing, like we just saw now, so an out-of-system high ball, she's early. She has such composure of an elite athlete that has been playing, you know, you'd think she's been playing just professionally or something. I mean, she has so much experience with the national team, but still.
Roberson on the overpass with the put down. Becca Kelly into the match now. Parra with the topspin serve. Off the one-legged attack, Sasha Cohen. Cohen now with 4 kills. Bonde leading the way with 7. That serve was long. His Armour was trying to go deep with that serve, sent it long. And that is now the 7th service error on UCF. TCU also with 7 as Alice Carlson will serve. And cross-court attack by Bonde.
And I think Bonde up until now has hit sharp angle, deep angle, and in between. So Alice Volpe is getting her share of dig attempts over there against Bonde.
7 digs for Volpe. Becca Kelly had it blocked. Kelly has a big arm, but a good job that time by Schomer. She was right there to get the block along with Kuhl.
And, you know, I think Becca Kelly, just coming into the match, she's definitely a player that she needs her swings to get warm. You know, she's a beast once she's warm. I get it. I was the same. She needs some swings to kind of get her mojo back.
Bonde again going down the line this time for the kill. Heidi Bonde now with 9 kills to lead the way for the Knights.
And that time she swung high over Lily Nicholson, utilized that line.
Service ace. So after TCU went on a run to open up a sizable lead, a 4-0 run here now for the Knights, and it's all tied at 7. Cleo Shear. That one is long. You know, Shear picked up that last ace. She's one of the better servers, not only on the Knights, but in the country. 132 career. Lily Nicholson. And in the middle that time, it was Schomers.
And when you're a 6-foot setter, you make something like that look so easy. And I'm surprised Abby Schomers has not done that more throughout the match so far. I think UCF could use kind of that addition to their offense. It kind of would bridge that gap in the score that we've been seeing with UCF and the Horned Frogs.
That one crawled right down the tape. They go back outside for Gibson, and that's a good job by Jalen Gibson going to the off-speed ball down the line to get it over the block.
And a great changeup, I think, taking a different look at Jalen Gibson here. You know, instead of her big, heavy swings, she's finding the open spot.
10 kills for her now. She's in double digits. Nicholson with the save. Gibson will score for the Horned Frogs. And that time she went a little bit back to her normal big swing.
Really shows patience there. Just Gibson kind of getting a feel for her swing again. And, you know, that time, nice high swing. She really kind of utilized the angle of those blockers' hands there.
Henricks. That one tool off the block. Bonde continues her hot hand here. She'll rotate out. 10 kills for her now. She's in double digits. The only UCF Knight in double digits thus far. Ava Armour has 6. She was the go-to person in the second set. Melanie Parra couldn't keep that one in. The set looked like it might have been behind her just a bit.
And I tell you, those high out-of-system sets, those are the ones, you know, that I personally think you really see the ability of attackers when you see what they can do with those kind of sets.
TCU did a good job of recognizing that that serve was long by Shelton. There were a couple of defenders on that back row for TCU, and they were just kind of yelled at each other long and stepped aside. Well,
and that's the thing about missing so the difference missing a serve long to in the net, at least long, you got to make the players think about it and talk about it, and they might actually touch it and you might get an ace.
Again, tool off the block by Armour. She's done that multiple times tonight.
And the reason why she can do that is because she contacts the ball nice and high there. So, you know, you can compare that when you look at the blocker who's blocking her, Jalen Gibson, you know, no small player, and, you know, able to kind of just see that high swing.
Off the net, Roberson. Kind of, not a full swing and a miss, but kind of a miss hit there in the middle. The set was just a little too tight to the net, I think. Melanie Parra. How many times have we seen her score on a play just like that, where the set isn't perfect and somehow she is able to get that kind of pace on the shot?
And that's one of the reasons why I appreciate Melanie Parra so much, is you know when there's kind of a scramble play like that, you know if the ball goes to Parra, she's going to be able to end it.
Jalen Gibson sends it into the net. Neither team serving great, although 5 aces for UCF to go along with their 9 errors. TCU just a couple of aces tonight. That's unusual. Melanie Para tools that one off the block. I mean, that was just a good job of using her power, really. It wasn't so much that she hit it off the outside, just blasted it right off the hands.
And, you know, just the ability to run that fast set to Para, the blocker, even though she looks like she's there, Abby Shomers, she wasn't quite stable and jumping straight up.
Para goes to the more of a floater serve. Henricks down the line, great dig by Shelton. Back row attack on the overpass. Roberson will score for the Horned Frogs.
And Robertson able to score off of that great rally of big swings and big defensive opportunities by the Horned Frogs. So, you know, tremendous team play there. Robertson, the one finishing it.
Gibson out of the back row. Cam Shelton was there, but Gibson just too much power here. Down in Orlando, TCU winning that 3-1. Henricks. Evan Henricks now with 7 kills.
And again, TCU in system right now is unstoppable. So Evan Hendricks that time was able to just get the set that she talks about with Lily Nicholson that they practice most of the time, easy to execute.
That'll break the 4-0 scoring run on that swing on the outside by Sasha Cohen. The last time they played last year was a career night for Jalen Gibson. At the time, it was her career best in kills, 23. She hit 405. Got off to a great start here again today. There's a kill in the middle by Roberson for the Horned Frogs. Nicholson sets Henricks. Good job of trying to dig that out, but just too much on that ball on the swing by Henricks.
Hendricks really showing off her cannon arm here. You can see how she's perfectly timed 1-against-1 swing there. Looks good.
Shearer was there. She just couldn't do anything with it. That went off the block. Cohen with the kill. That one off the hands of Sarah Sylvester.
TCU still struggling to really ramp up their blocking against UCF. I think that's the thing about UCF. There's not really one hitter that you can say is their go-to. So as blockers, you got to honor everyone.
And again, Hendricks having a great night for the Horned Frogs.
And I think that the TCU system is just too quick for UCF, and you can see her, Evan Hendricks. It looks like she has a solid block up, but such a big opening there down the line.
Career high 13 kills last time out for her. Alexia Kuhl with the kill.
And, you know, that one-legged attack, lots of line open there. So Alice Volpe definitely had to really kind of sit in that one if she wanted to dig it.
On the outside, Gibson. A little surprised there was nobody there for UCF. It was right in the middle of the court. Jalen Gibson with the kill. That gives her 14 on the night, and timeout take well above their overall hitting percentage. They came in hitting 261 as a team and hitting 356 for the match. That's why it feels like it should be a much more lopsided score.
Yeah, and you know, you look at Alexia Cole, she's number 4 in the Big 12 for hitting percentage. She's hitting 0 right now. So, you know, some changes there that the UCF attackers can make if they want to pull this out.
Jalen Gibson, her 14th kill of the match.
And Gibson, her thumb down the line, that's kind of her natural swing, if you will. So it got her that point.
Great dig by Volpe on that good swing. Parra just pushes it over. You know, back out to the outside. And that one wide. As Bonde tried to cut it sharply, but it was a tough ball for her to handle. It looked like it was behind her and almost out of bounds.
Yeah, so
UCF, especially when you're struggling and trying to find yourself, you know, late in the season. But all you can do is continue to work hard and hope that the result changes. That one off the block. Britt Carlson with the kill.
And you know, I think Carlson, she wants that tool there. She knows she's going like a freight train down the line, whether Parra is there to block it or not.
Cam Shelton with the serve. Gibson partially blocked at the net. Armour. Sylvester was there. I think she's a little angry that she couldn't close the block.
And that's one of the challenges too for TCU is the block timing here. So, you know, they're together. It looks all good, but it ends with that ball trickling down. That just tells you that the timing is a little off.
Melanie Parra. 15th kill of the match for Melanie Parra.
And I feel like tonight we can call Melanie Parra the finisher. She's just finishing these long rallies with some spectacular swings, that time 1-against-1. But when you look at the rally kind of leading up to it, lots of movement involved, lots of thought for sure on Melanie Parra's end.
Seth Bramschreiber with the serve. Armour, Bramschreiber, or excuse me, Hendricks with a great dig. Melanie Parra. Hendricks out of the back row. There's the block by TCU. Roberson got it, and it's match point for TCU.
And just like the last set, the TCU block is coming in play at the end of the set to start to clinch to win the match.
Bramschreiber for the match. Sends it long. And you can see Seth kind of wincing a little bit.